Hello, and welcome to our second podcast from the same Palm Sunday service. We pretty much had 2 sermons this week, so I've taken the musing of our service leader, Paul.N, who gave us each 3 stones. Listen on to find out what he did. I hope you find this podcast interesting, and if you do, give us a like so we know. God bless. See you next time.
So, welcome to today's deep dive. Imagine you go to a parade and you expect everyone to be celebrating the exact same thing.
Right, yeah, it's a shared experience.
Exactly. But imagine standing in a cheering crowd, just absolutely euphoric, while the person you're actually celebrating knows they are marching toward their own execution.
Oh, wow, yeah, that is a massive disconnect.
It really is. And that is what we're exploring today with you. We're looking at an audio transcript of a Palm Sunday service from March 29th, 2026. It's led by a speaker named Paul.
Yeah, and our mission here is to explore that intersection of ancient prophecies, human expectations, and, well, physical symbols of faith.
Right. And to see how a crowd's misplaced political hopes led to a really shocking historical pivot. So Paul frames this by talking about special days.
Like birthdays or New Year's resolutions.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And Passover, celebrating escaping Egypt.
Yeah.
He uses that to frame Palm Sunday, the day Jesus entered Jerusalem on a donkey.
Acting as God's king. And the crowd is just armed with palm branches.
Which is actually fulfilling these prophecies they probably learned in school, like Psalm 118 and Zechariah 9.
Right, they had all the symbols down perfectly.
But, okay, let's unpack this, because Paul compares that anticipation to waiting for a distant visiting relative from Australia.
Which is a great analogy for that buildup of excitement.
It is, but I have to push back on the crowd's logic here. I mean, if they had seen all the miracles, like healing the sick or feeding crowds with 5 loaves and 2 fishes, why did they completely misunderstand his mission?
Well, what's fascinating here is the fatal disconnect between what they wanted and what he offered.
How do you mean?
So the people, they desperately wanted a political messiah, someone to free them from the Romans and those heavy taxes.
Oh, right. They wanted a rebellion.
Exactly. But Jesus offered freedom from the slavery of sin instead. So when that disappointed crowd realized he wasn't their military leader, they rapidly flipped.
I mean, they went from shouting Hosanna to shouting crucify him like overnight.
Yeah, it's chilling. And of course, that directly leads to Pilate condemning him and Jesus having to wear a mocking crown of thorns.
It's just such a violent shift. And to transition from that historical crowd's reaction to how we process this today, the service uses this really tactile exercise.
Oh, the stones. Yeah, that part is so interesting.
Right. Paul literally hands out 3 physical stones to the congregation.
Which is such a grounded way to handle abstract concepts.
Yeah.
So the first stone represents praise, right?
Yeah. Inspired by the book of Luke.
Yeah.
Basically, if the crowds are quiet, the stones themselves will celebrate.
I love that imagery. And then the second stone is the cornerstone.
Representing Jesus holding the church and community together, even though, he was the stone builders just tossed aside.
Tossed aside, yeah. And the third stone is for brokenness. It's a reminder of a broken world, like crumbled mountains.
Which prompts prayers for those needing saving power. And I just think it is brilliant to use an ordinary rough object, like a stone, to anchor heavy concepts like grief or community.
It really is. And for you listening, it makes you wonder how physical anchors might help you stay grounded, like when you're dealing with your own brokenness or just when your expectations aren't met.
That's a really great point to think about. So we've traced this whole journey today from the euphoria of a misunderstood king arriving on a donkey straight to the crushing reality of the cross.
All anchored by that grounding metaphor of the 3 stones.
Exactly. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought from the source's reflections of a disciple.
Oh, right. This part really shifts the perspective.
It does. The disciple suddenly remembers that Jesus actually predicted he would be mocked, flogged, crucified, and raised on the 3rd day.
He knew exactly what was going to happen.
Right. So if Jesus knew exactly how quickly the crowd would turn on him, what does it say about his willingness to ride into Jerusalem in the first place?
Now that is something to mull over.